In this episode 3, we will be chatting about SUVs and what they mean for luxury and performance brands. We'll be chatting about motoring expos and shows and the future thereof, and all things PT Cruisers and Canyon cars. This is On the Overrun. Luke,
Martin,
how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's flipping hot in Stellenbosch, but
It is extremely hot and we are sweating. We are actually shooting this podcast in the afternoon. We usually shoot it in the mornings just to be fresh, but today we might be less fresh. But the jokes will still be there.
I'm hoping the jokes will still be
We'll
there.
still share some stories. Don't worry, we've got the facts in our heads and also in front of us. That's why we have the computers in front of us.
My head's spinning.
But what's today? Third episode.
Yeah,
We've made it.
we've made it.
They say third time's the charm.
Third time,
Or third time lucky. Or
Third time lucky. Anything with 3.
yeah.
So-
So 3 series, M3. That's the same thing. M3.
M3 series, all the
The
Martin.
3-pointed star Mercedes.
There we go.
Audi A3. RS3.
RS3.
Yes, that
everything.
RSQ3. That is the thing.
It's a debatable
I
car.
don't like it,
anyway,
though.
but that's a car for another
That's
day.
basically like a raised Golf.
I don't know,
GTI.
it's just
No, like a Golf R, but
looks
a
like
raised Golf R.
you know.
Do you like the RSQ3?
No, I don't. I'm not such a big fan.
Do you like the RS3?
I do, but that's just because it's like
Quick.
it's quick. It's a hot hatch.
Okay. Would you prefer the A45 or the RS3?
That's a tough
So
one.
the new A45.
Yeah, the new one. I'd probably still go for the RS3.
RS3.
Yeah.
Why?
I just like the look of Audis, the way that it looks a bit
No,
more
it's clean.
beefier.
It is bulky, yeah.
But
But the A45 is just...
it's a stunning car as well. I mean, and then it's vicious. That
But
little thing is.
I'm struggling to find the obnoxious.
There we go.
It is obnoxious.
It is
With that
obnoxious.
wing,
Yeah.
with that side skirts,
It's like,
carbon
it's
fiber
like
bits.
the wealthier twin, or not twin, like the wealthier cousin of Honda Civic Type R or something.
The
no?
wealthier cousin.
Yeah.
That's so true. Well, the Honda Civic Type R is...
That's also a ridiculous
That
car.
thing
but
is latched with everything carbon
3
fiber.
wings. I mean, why do you put 3 spoilers on a
No,
car?
it's unbelievable. But it's a very good car.
It's a very good car.
It's a very good car.
ridiculously good car.
I would like to drive one, soon enough.
We'll get there. We'll get there, Martin. Anyway, what are we doing
Yes.
today?
What are we doing today? Firstly, welcome. Thank you for
Yeah.
making it the third episode. If you are listening to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or you're watching on YouTube, I think we can name you the day ones.
Mm.
You are going to be birthed the day ones. So when we
The
shoot
OG crowd.
when we shoot podcast number 102 or 145, we will still refer to the day ones as you guys.
Yes,
I think anyone who commits to this podcast since like the third, somewhere between 1 and 10.
Yeah. I
Like,
think that's
they
that's
definitely
you,
day
the
one.
OG crowd.
Yes,
We'll
the
keep on
dream
looking
team.
out for you guys, the dream team.
That's why we're
Or
working. We're
maybe-
working for the dream team.
Get some dream team T-shirts or something.
Later on, we can limited edition
limited
dream
edition
team.
dream team.
Yeah, I'm so
On the
excited.
overrun.
I'm so excited. But yes, welcome. As I said, we are on the platforms that I mentioned just recently. Also on social media, we are very active. It's Instagram. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We are on TikTok, but we do not do as much things on TikTok. If you want to really find us and interact with us, go ahead, email us at overrunbrand@gmail.com. Share a story, share a thought, share a comment, a review. Otherwise, you can go to @ontheoverrun _ on Instagram, and you can check us out there. Give us a like, give us a follow. That sounds so cheesy.
It does a little
I don't want
bit.
to sound like a YouTuber. Don't follow us. I'm joking. Please follow us.
Don't retract.
Yeah.
Just,
So that's where you find us. That's
We'll
where you
get
can
used to
interact
it.
with us. But firstly, before we chat about what is to be chatted about today, I want
I
to
don't even know.
tell us a quick story. So it's story time.
Story time.
Story time.
Get the popcorn. Sit down on the
Yes.
couch. Maybe
Get your
a glass
all
of
brand
wine.
because that's what you eat during a movie.
Exactly.
Anyway, so the story I want to tell. So our good friend Sarah helps us with social media and design and branding. She's awesome. She's very talented in what she does. She actually sold.
We're very blessed to have her.
Yeah,
We're
very blessed.
Very blessed.
She actually sold her first car quite recently. She had an Opel Zafira, so it's one of the cheapest 7-seaters. Like it'll probably go against the Touran or the Charan from Volkswagen. like what is Toyota's Bus Mobilio? No, that's Honda Mobilio, but
anyway.
it's a bit of an older car anyway, 7-seater. So these cars usually go for about 60 to 80k, 80,000 rand for like a good, example. But hers is let's just say less than average. I'll show you photos, but like the rear window is smashed out.
He's been around the block.
You can say it is trash because there's literally a trash bag over the rear side window.
Easy access. I mean, imagine you lock your keys in the car. You're gonna get in.
That is what happened.
To smash the window anymore.
That is what happened.
You just replace the black bag around the back.
That is why there is a black bag. But anyway, so she went to a company who buys cars. We won't name the company's name, but anyway, they buy cars. And
South Africa.
In South Africa.
They buy cars.
They buy cars. But anyway, she went to them for a quote, and they quoted her 25,000 rand, which is like, it's low.
I mean, you can't. What can you buy with that?
It's low. No, it's low.
Buy yourself a scooter and maybe some spare wheels or something to put on it and fuel for a month.
Yeah.
I think that's where it stops.
But anyway, 25k, and she was like, "No, I can do better." But her dad was like, "Not so sure." Her friends were like, "Not so sure."
Yeah.
And then from there on, she actually, she put her car on the web on Gumtree, and she put it up for 45,000. And she was like, it's a bit of a stretch because he still has to do like 7 to 8k of repairs, which is quite a lot. Like the gearbox isn't very lacquer. Clutch is almost gone. You can think it's an old car. But anyway, so she put it up for 45,000, and she actually got a few replies in like the first few minutes. So there was already interest, and the next day she met with the person, and she was like taking a boyfriend with because she was quite scared, maybe this could be a dodgy deal
and stuff.
Yeah. You never know.
South African version of Craigslist. Basically.
Yeah, it is crazy. So she met with this guy, and they chatted about, and he was like, how much are you willing to go down? And she said, well, I'll go down with the amount that I was going to spend on repairs and maintenance, which is about 7,000 to 8,000 rand. They went down to 38, and the guy was like, okay, what are you thinking about 36? And in her mind, she's like, I can't believe I'm selling this for anything over 30,000. And she eventually sold it for 36,000, and the guy was like, okay, we can do the paperwork a bit later. They had like a very impromptu contract,
just a sign off.
Yeah, contract sent up. So the papers and stuff are going to be transferred this week, but he drove off the car that day, and she was like, I sold my first car. So Sarah,
well done.
Well done for selling your first car for like 11,000 rand more than she expected. So that's very well done.
That's proper.
That's very well done.
Hats off to you, madam. I'll tell you when I need to sell my first car as well.
Hats off.
Maybe go into car sales. I don't know.
Yeah, that is a very
Not
good...
at this time. It's very bad at this time, but like in a few months.
But
maybe.
being able to sell your car, being able to sell anything is a very, very good trait. Well, ability to have.
Yeah.
So, well done to her. Yeah. But anyway, more relevant, more recent, more interesting news to come up. Luke, what do we have?
We have an SUV.
An SUV. The anomaly.
This SUV makes me think of if you take a child and you put him down in front of a Lego box and you say, build me a car.
But he gives the chassis and the wheels and the engine.
Yes, but just the body. Build the car. It's the Lamborghini Urus. It's quite an interesting car. It's ridiculously fast. 650 horsepower from a bi-turbo. I think it's a 4-liter.
4-liter bi-turbo V8. Yep.
I'm not such a big fan of it, I'm not gonna lie, but I am more the guy that goes for like style and class and everything like that. But it's still a fantastic car for Lamborghini because it was the first car on the production line of Lamborghini that in the shortest time reached 10,000 units.
Yeah, I think within 2 years.
Yeah, so that speaks for itself. I mean, it's a big thing for Lamborghini to come out with I think this
SUV.
Is the first SUV.
The second, the LMP 002 or something, that very boxy like army wagon like with the V12. It was basically a truck version of a Countach.
Yeah. So that was not really, that doesn't count. Yeah. So for this, having the proper SUV come out, I think is a really big thing.
It was a big step, but of course Porsche started it. So Porsche in 2003, they released the Cayenne, and everyone was like, oh, Porsche is going downhill. They're aspiring down to the death.
And let's be honest, the first version of the Cayenne wasn't the best.
No, it's ugly.
thing.
It's ugly.
Yeah.
My granddad actually has one, and it still drives, still very luxurious. I think that one has a 3.6 V6 in. But yeah, the Cayenne came out. It was the first V8 that Porsche built in quite some time, since the 928 was discontinued, and it did extremely well. Like within the first few years, it already had sold like 300,000 units. So it did, like, it just pushed Porsche to a whole new level in terms of sales, and it actually entitled them to build the most insane cars after that. I think, if I might be wrong, but the first GT3, so it was the 911 GT3, was built after the Cayenne, and I mean, I think that was maybe one of the cars that was possible because of the Cayenne and what it did for Porsche. So for Lambo, what happened now is the Urus basically, I think it was end of 2019, Lambo sales were up by 43%. Because
that's
of the Urus's reveal. So that's massive for them. And you mentioned now the sales figures. So it was not the sales figures, the production figures was 10,000 the first 2 years. So the Huracan, which was also a big step for them, the successor to the Gallardo, they built 10,000 in 4 years, which is the Urus.
It's completely surpassed everything that they've ever done. It's insane. And I mean, it's not like it's fantastic for what you get, but like I said, I'm not a fan of the looks and stuff, but you think like it's a very bold statement. It's like this big thing. It's got these very sharp lines all across, and you wouldn't
very
think
much Lamborghini.
Very much Lamborghini, but you would not think that would be the Lamborghini to set the record for what they do. I mean,
so you wouldn't have thought that would be the Lambo to set the record, or basically put them back on the track?
No, I wouldn't think of it, because it's not a. You don't think, when you think Lamborghini, you don't think SUV.
Yeah, but other brands were also like, okay, let's bring out an SUV like Jaguar, like Bentley, and like, what did it mean for them?
Yeah, okay, I suppose it meant a lot as well.
And if you look at another brand, also Aston Martin, they are in heaps of trouble financially. So they sold a lot of their shares recently. We touched on this the previous episode. But yeah, they got a few new investors to chip in. They are going into Formula One next year also. But a big release this year was the Aston Martin DBX, which is their SUV. The engine they are actually bringing out is the 4-liter twin-turbo V8 from the Mercedes-AMG engines. So do you know the Aston Martin Vantage, the newest one? They also have the 4-liter V8 from the Mercedes GTS. So that 4-liter V8 is used widely. So it's about
very common engine.
So almost every AMG model has that engine. So DBX is bringing out with that, and it looks very cool, very much Aston Martin, like the Urus for Lambo. And I think that's very good for them.
Yeah, it's a good thing that with these new SUVs that car companies have gotten right. It's the same with Bentley as well, with the new SUVs coming out. They're taking more and more of what makes them and putting it into the car, so that I think it's more easily recognizable, but also in that sense that if you were to say to someone, design me an SUV for, let's say, Lamborghini, I think the Urus is exactly what it would look like.
Yeah, it is definitely.
The same with the DBX and the Bentayga and all that.
Another example is also the Cullinan is basically what you would see a Rolls Royce.
Yeah. I think the new era of SUVs have done really, really well.
Yeah, in terms of design, definitely. Yeah.
They've done really good. The other car as well is the Bentley Bentayga, which people like to compare to the Urus in a sense, because it almost matches in power. It's got 600 horsepower from W12 compared to the 650. It costs about the same, but then again, it's the sense of where you take performance over luxury, and then obviously the Cullinan is in a whole nother spectrum of depending on what you spec it with.
And I mean, that's not performance orientated at all. It's all about being the most luxurious. And I think the Bentley is a bit in a tight spot there, because it's a bit bent between what do I want to be now. Bentley, known as luxury brand, has brought out cars like the Continental, the GT version of that, the GT Speed, whatever. So they have a few performance-orientated versions also with crazy performance, but still focused on luxury. So now it's like
you still have these massive seats, and it's like sitting on a sofa in a car.
Still, it's like you can't ask for more luxury. But now it's like the Bentayga. Like, are you facing the Cullinan, or are you facing the Urus, the RSQ8? Because we saw a drag race recently with the the Cayenne Turbo SE Hybrid, the RSQ8, Urus, and then the Bentayga. And the Bentayga fared very well.
I did, yeah. I was quite surprised by that because it's in comparing to the engines and stuff, it's not necessarily that big a performance engine. Obviously, it's got the power for that, but it's not like you're taking that car and hurtling it around a track every now and again like you would perhaps with a Urus if you buy it for performance.
Yeah, it's a heavy car.
It's a flippin' heavy car.
But I think, I can't remember the version now, but the Bentayga, they brought out like a special edition last year or something, which was for a short period of time. I don't know if it still is, but it was the most powerful SUV. Production SUV. So it was even more powerful than the the SRT, the Grand Cherokee, the Trackhawk.
The Jeep Trackhawk,
the Trackhawk. So, I don't know. I'm not too attracted to the Bentayga. Not that I'm a
newer one
potential customer, but
the newer done.
The refresh.
The refresh has done it quite nicely with a facelift and all that. I think the old one was, I don't know. It's like a marshmallow on wheels. It's got these.
Very flimsy.
I'm not saying but it's like this like big and
fluffy,
big and fluffy SUV, like a marshmallow basically. But the new facelift, I think they've changed a few things and it's looking very good. I have to say.
I actually see people yelling at us calling the Bentayga marshmallow, but that's fine. The fact that you're listening to it, that's awesome. But I also wanted to touch on, in terms of SUVs and what they mean for these luxury brands, the reason why SUVs are also so profitable is because brands don't have to push so much money into the development and production and research into a new model for SUV. Because I don't know if you knew, but Volkswagen Group, which is basically the holder company for a few subsidiaries, including Volkswagen, Audi, Bentley, Lamborghini is also part of that spectrum. How many cars, and you can try and name them if you want. So think of the Porsche Cayenne now. Okay. How many cars have the same base, basically the platform, and the same 4-liter V8? How many cars share that?
The same 4-liter V8.
So the same 4-liter V8, or a derivative from it. But
Mercedes is I'm thinking the GL.
But remember, Mercedes is not part of the.
They're not part
group.
of the Volkswagen.
So
group.
think of the Cayenne. Okay, one example of a car that basically shares the same platform is the Touareg.
Yeah. Okay.
So think of, what do you think would be other examples of people?
Thinking Audis, but
There's two Audis that share the same platform. RSQ8.
The new RSQ8.
And the SQ7 also. But the SQ7...
but the engine isn't the same.
The engine isn't the same. The SQ has the turbo diesel.
Yeah.
The Urus shares the same platform with the Cayenne and the RSQ8. The Touareg, as I mentioned, and the Audis. So there are quite a few collaborations.
Volkswagen has a copier machine in their offices and they just go...
the Volkswagen Group basically is like, push it here. And, in some senses like, where's the character for the cars, whatever. But if you think about it, SUVs, like, they aren't meant to be the most playful, characterful, emotion-inspiring cars. They are meant to be good at what they do, and like performance SUVs are meant to be quick, and that's what they are. And it's much cheaper for brands to then develop these SUVs and actually make a lot of money because platform was already developed.
You just need to put a body on an interior and you change it up depending on what brand you are. Precisely.
Suspension you alter with and whatever.
But you can also get that from anyone else. So
that's true. So that's basically the reason why
actually SUVs should be the easiest car to produce for a company if you build on the...
Well, it could be any car. It could be a sedan also. It's just taking an already existing, already good, well-performing platform and working from there. R8 and Huracan is an example. The Supra and the Z4. Well. So these are also examples of cars and brands sharing platforms. But so just coming back to SUVs, I think that's the main advantage that brands have. Is that the fact that they are sharing platforms.
Like the S600 and the Pagani.
That is another episode.
That's another episode.
But that just cuts the cost by a lot. And to be honest, the buyers of those SUVs aren't like, yes, you are probably a petrol head for buying that and also a bit crazy. Like, it's very irrational buy. But like those cars are very good at what they do. They're extremely quick. Sorry, Bentley Bentayga also part of the MLB platform.
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah, those cars are very good at what they do. They are very quick and they sell.
Yeah,
they sell
and I mean,
very
they
well.
sell like insanely. The numbers are flipping good for those those cars.
Yeah.
I think it's like, in certain senses as well, you have a car company that their normal, the flagship cars are like really expensive, and then you get the SUV, might be a little bit cheaper,
but some are very expensive still.
Yeah, some are still very expensive, but I think with, like, let's say you're a super wealthy businessman and you have your family and stuff, it's better. I think your wife will be more at ease if you buy an SUV with 5 seats instead of buying a 2-seat sports car from the same company, but then you can still have your brand.
Yeah.
It's obviously a very little group of people like that, but it's still,
it is a small group. Like, okay, in terms of like relating to the whole world, well, in relation to the whole world, basically, it's a small group.
It's a small group, but
that's all you hear of, you know.
Yeah, it's all those things.
So, I think another debate for another day, maybe also, you know, SUVs versus sedans and estates. More so estates than sedans, but just taking cars like the Bentayga, taking cars like the Urus and the RSQ8 and comparing them to E63s, RS6s, Alpina B5s, so I think that's also quite a debate for another day. But the other main topic we want to touch on is also motoring brands, but more specifically motoring expos and shows that are struggling to survive.
Yeah, it's not a good season or anything for a few years, I would think.
Yeah. What happened to the Geneva Motor Show?
The Geneva Motor Show was cancelled for this year. It was the beginning of the year.
And 2021
and, it's also cancelled for 2021. And the main reason, so this year's cancellation obviously had to do with COVID-19 and the whole pandemic across, which makes sense. But the problem with next year's is car companies weren't interested enough to go and showcase their cars. There was no responses from car companies, from the organizers of the Geneva show. And it's been so bad that the show, where it's, I think, $210 million for those 4 days that it brings to
that's
capital.
Unbelievable.
It's insane.
But that's what it provides. That's what it, like, in terms of economic value.
Yeah, economic value. That's what it provides.
Unbelievable.
It's insane. But now I think it's up for sale. Or what is it specifically?
I can't remember what I don't think they spoke prices or so. I'll try and find out.
But I know, as far as I know, the rights to the show is up for sale. You can. If you have, I don't know what the pricing on that would be. It would be probably insane. And I'm not entirely sure what you're buying, but the general consensus is that the show is up for sale due to it not being able to run 2 years without, or still exist for 2 years without anything happening.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got all these people and they rely on 4 days of expo, 4 or 5 days of expo. And with that not being there for 2 years, it's a massive, massive hit that it takes.
And they also said the event is to be sold. But one article also mentioned they put it that way, that it is for sale in its current format.
Yeah.
So the current format being the physical show with the physical stands and exhibitions.
Everything that's...
and that is, it's sad in many senses. I remember when I was very young, my dad took me to the Cape Town Motor Show. So there's a motor show in Waterfront.
Yes.
Every year. And it's very cool exhibitions and new cars being released, and you have these very interesting slammed old Mercedes C-classes, just things you expect.
Out of the ordinary, it's being a whole new...
And to be dead honest with you, I don't remember anything because I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
But I just remember walking out of there, I'm like, okay, so are we getting a car now? Are we buying a car from here?
Yeah.
And it was quite a cool experience. Just going to a car show, I think that's, in terms of a car enthusiast's needs and, petrol heads like us, what a cool experience to attend a car show.
Yeah.
It just seeing
I was about
new
to say,
cars.
it's a bit sad because you have this new generation of car fanatics coming in, and now there's no showcase for them. And you can understand, you can do it digitally and sit at your home and watch it, but I mean, anyone can look at a picture of a car. It's a whole different experience than going to a venue and actually looking at something and seeing it in person. And I think that's a big thing that falls away a bit, and it's sad. But, the world is changing, times are changing, we have to adapt and see what we can do. So I've got no idea, to be honest, what the new era of this type of things would be. Hopefully they can come back. Obviously they won't be as they were. There'll still be some things going on, but I really don't think the way forward is having everything on a computer and just looking at it through a screen.
Yeah, there's a lot of innovation to be done by car shows in general.
Yeah.
But just to put it into perspective, so the normal attendance at Geneva Motor Show is like 5 to 600,000 people, which is insane, in that 4 days.
Yeah.
The Paris Motor Show has attendance like 1.2, 1.3 million people, which is unbelievable. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And as you said, economic value like for the Geneva is like 210 million euros or Swiss francs. I can't remember which one. But anyway, so the attendance at the Paris Motor Show is about 1.2, 1.3 million, which is a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
How many followers do you think how many followers do you think Mercedes has on their Instagram page?
Like 7 million, round about there.
28 million.
28 million.
28 million. Porsche has 21.9 or like 22 million. So on a single Instagram post, their reach is more than like
both of those shows combined.
Yeah, well, but basically, yeah. So their reach is by far more, and it's so much more. Like, I think there's two variables to be taken into convenience here in terms of car shows and the future thereof is convenience, which is one, and then economic trade-off value.
The
so
value and the gain.
Convenience meaning, like, of course for us we would love to go to a car show, but
to experience it in first hand.
What's more convenient, sitting at home watching a video like a few hours after the show and the release of a car, which there are many videos of, or like driving to the show, standing in the lines. Yeah, so there's a trade-off in terms of convenience. People are going much more toward the line of convenience. And
I think if you have like the new era of people coming in and watching everything on digital platforms and stuff like that, but then you have, obviously you get an old school crowd that says, no, we want this and we want that, and the whole experience of going to the show and then walking through the booths and stuff. So it's a big debate to be had about what goes where, but we'll see what happens in the next few years. And
I think it's already turning out. I think it's already turning out as it's going to be, because as you mentioned, some car brands, there was much less interest by some car brands to actually attend these shows because it's unbelievably expensive. We can't, like, I don't have a ballpark value for you because it depends. Like, some stands and exhibitions are much more elaborate.
Yeah, I think there's a floor plan and it gets allocated from where you're standing, and it's depending all got to do with where the people come in and movement and all that. So who's going to get the most viewing, and that costs more than someone else.
Precisely.
In the back. So it's dependent, I think, every year from who is available as well, because car companies need to say, okay, we want to go, and then they can start working on that. And if no car companies want to go exhibit new models or whatever, then what's the point?
As you said, also it's very important. Like at some car shows, some stands are more accessible, or necessarily have more traffic, past that stand. But when it comes to social media and YouTube, that competitive advantage that some brands have, that's gone now. It's an equal playing field.
It's in a sense, it's healthy competition between the car brand and that drives car brands to keep on going, because you can have two great cars right next to each other at the same show, and they can look what they're doing, and that can force them to be better the next year, and it just keeps on going and going. And now that falls away. So it's a bit of a situation, but like we said, you got to do what you got to do in that sense.
So we'll see how it turns out. But I think social media is definitely the way to go. Brands are focusing a lot more at the moment on production and production value. So you'll see a lot of like short films. Koenigsegg brought out like a short film now. I don't know if you saw.
I haven't seen it, but I'm just thinking of Mercedes' short film as well.
Yeah, so
stuff like that.
They are focusing a lot on like content creation.
Porsche are actually the kings of short films, I would say, because they've got a bunch. You can go on YouTube and keep on watching old, like from the 2008, I think.
So if you go look at car shows are mainly there for, like, of course, showcasing brands, building brand value, marketing, whatever. But basically for at car shows, you can expect big new concepts being revealed, new cars being released for the first time. I remember 2019, the Geneva Motor Show, like Ferrari had the F8 Tributo, and Lamborghini had the Huracan Evo Spider that the Aventador SVJ Roadster. So these are just like small examples. Koenigsegg, for instance, Geneva Motor Show this year. I think it was like, so it was like cancelled the day before. Yeah, so it was like cancelled the day before, and after that, they made like a video. I remember Christian from Koenigsegg brought out a video with another YouTuber, basically releasing the Jesco? The Koenigsegg Jesco? Yeah. So also like their new thing. Okay. People looking from all sides and angles. Want to see what's going on. What's going on, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So release of new cars, and brands are just maybe more focused on, doing it online. They can make an insane production. People are
like you said, with the followers, like Mercedes' case of all the followers and stuff, I suppose when releasing something like that, you'll reach a lot more people because not everyone can go to a car show. But I think in a sense, when you have this live crowd reaction as well to having a car being pulled from underneath a cloth, and it's a whole different experience, but it's not accessible to everyone. So it might be that doing it over digital platforms is more accessible to a bigger crowd, and that gets the word out faster and to show what's really going on. So
also like from that, I think as we spoke about like releasing new cars, and you just said like content creation may be just the way to go. And if you look at the amount of people that YouTubers, like automotive YouTubers like Mr. JWW, Seen Through Glass, Shmee150, the reach they have is massive, not just on YouTube, not just on
all
Instagram, but like it's millions of people. And immediately after release of the car, whatever, they to document it. And I think can you remember like McLaren, their Speedtail release, their 765 LT, the 720S, all their releases was like this private thing where they basically held a release sort of thing,
like
very
a release
privately.
Party, and they invite a certain group of people that they want there because they know they'll get that out and they'll document it and showcase it. So it's almost that like they don't have to do any advertising because the people they invite will do the advertising for them. They can just announce it, and this group of people will come and they'll know, they'll document because it's what they thrive on. So journalists, vloggers, car like enthusiasts and people like that have this reach, it would make more sense because it's not a lot of trouble. Then like the marketing team has about this much, where the people that come in and come look at the car at the release party, they do about this much. So I think it's an easier outcome at least.
Yeah, you basically just put your head of design and like head of operations for that car, and then you just
let the rest
chat,
of itself.
So the YouTubers
some champagne and caviar, and they keep on talking for hours.
Make it interesting.
Yeah,
and I think something we can sort of go on from there is as we now mentioned, basically it's just collaborations between brands and then YouTubers, content creators. Something that is, in Afrikaans you say goud werd, basically like very valuable to brands, is collaborations with influencers. If they can get influencers on Instagram or YouTube, whatever, to mention their brand or to drive one of their cars, they don't mind inviting YouTubers on.
Exactly. It's so let's say the car company has a certain amount of followers, but this influencer are you thirsty?
Sorry,
Martin?
I'm thirsty. It's very warm.
The influencers that you then invite to that might have a completely different crowd that the company does not have, and that pushes their reach into that direction. Then you have someone on Instagram and then on YouTube. They've got both those platforms, and they spread that out. And maybe the car company's game on YouTube isn't that strong, but this influencers is amazing. It's like one of the best. So then why wouldn't they do that? It's very easy for them. I mean, it's not like they're short of cash or anything to pay someone to do something like that. So,
and I think for smaller brands also, it's very clever to do collaborations. Collaborations sometimes can be destructive to brands and brand value and brand image. Like you might just team up with the wrong guy and he doesn't make the quality of content you'd expect him to make, or the crowd isn't the crowd that the audience that he interacts with and has reached to maybe isn't the crowd that you expected or maybe wanted your brand to interact with. But that's sometimes clever. Like let's take for instance, there's what's the brand called again? I think it's called Yanarelli. So Yanarelli, I think it's a French company. Don't quote me on it, but they designed I actually want to find this now, but it's an extremely cool car. it's like a mix between like R8, Shelby Cobra, E-Type Jaguar. Let's just see.
So that's quite an interesting combination of things.
Yeah, but like a very unknown brand. Like this was a Yana Rally Design 1. What is it? Yeah, it's Yana Rally. Okay, it's called the Design 1, and like it's insane. And basically they teamed up with like a YouTuber, I remember, and only because of that, like he drive the car, they basically got the reach they wanted, you know. So it's a very clever idea.
Easy tactic with very little fuss, like you said.
That just makes it
does most of the stuff for them. They just give him the products to use.
Yeah, product endorsements make a lot of money for these guys. But yeah, I think that basically covers it. If you want a short conclusion or verdict, motoring brand marketing and branding.
New age is digital, and that's it.
Well, that's been digital for some time. But yeah, so car expos, car shows will have to change the format in which they operate if they want to survive. Yeah,
have to adapt and get these things sorted, because it's a big hurdle that they're facing.
And content creation is
the way to go.
The present and the future.
Yeah,
that's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Well, sort of. We actually just want people to enjoy.
We're just bored at home and we're talking nonsense. We need to channel.
Are we at home? No, we're not.
No, we're not at home. That's why we're here. So
we just want to create appreciation, create some passion amongst cars and just the people around them. But yeah, we have a very interesting segment coming out now. Very exciting.
Very, it's gonna be the ultimate canyon driving,
the ultimate canyon car, the ultimate mountain boss
experience,
spirited driving. Yeah. You know,
we set a few guidelines for this as well, because it's not like you're taking your family hurtling up a mountain or something. It needs to be a 2-seater.
Yes.
And it needs to be a manual.
Yes.
Because that will give you that ultimate driving experience.
Yeah. You want to have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
You know?
You don't want to just floor it and let the car do its own thing. You want to work do your thing. Yeah. You want.
So 2-seater, 2+2 is fine. Like, you know, you can't acknowledge the two seats in the back seats in a 911, like those aren't seats. Yeah. But anyway, so just a bit of context. Luke and I, we were going on holiday not too long ago, and we drove over the Franschhoek Pass, which is, if you don't know,
one
South
of the
Africa,
best driving roads. I'm pretty sure
it's just
it is.
The views and the quality of the tarmac.
Yeah,
it's very good.
Proper road.
Very nice driving there.
Yeah, and it's quite long as well. It's a proper pass. It's not just a quick up and down. It takes some time to do it.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable.
If you're lucky, you'll find some baboons. So there's some spectators.
You don't have to be lucky to find baboons.
You'll definitely spectators for your hill climb when you're going up.
So as you said, those were the parameters we set, and
the price was
sub
500,000 rand. Yeah. So just to keep it, so you don't go crazy.
So I think, Luke, if you're ready, you can reveal us your car. I don't know what his car is, by the way.
The trusted site, Gumtree, and
yes, as we do.
I found a supercharged Honda S2000, 2006 model, 86.
It's expected.
86,000 kilometers on it, but this thing is not just like, it's the amount of like extras and modification that this guy has done. It's a soft top convertible, but he includes a hard top for you as well if you want to add that. The whole supercharger is a Roadtrix supercharger from the UK. It's 100,000 rand or bit more, which is already insane.
But that car it wasn't released with a supercharger.
No, this is aftermarket.
Okay. Yeah. What's the engine specs on that one? Like displacement and...
I'm trying to see now. It's 230 kilowatt from the supercharger, but I'm not entirely sure what the original one is. I can check quickly.
Let me see. Honda S
2000.
I think it was a 2-liter VTEC.
Yeah, 2-liter.
Yeah, 2-liter inline 4 VTEC.
7 kilowatt.
VTEC basically just
240 horsepower.
Rev it all. You can't anymore.
Yeah. 240 horsepower. But now with a supercharger on with 230 kilowatts, a little bit more beefy.
Yeah. No, I think that's good. That's a good option.
Yeah, no.
People really like this car. It's small. It's
yeah, I was about to say, it's small. It goes when it needs to go. I mean, slap a supercharger on anything, and especially one that's this intense.
And cabriolet, it's open top. It does sound good. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. It sounds proper.
Yeah, it's just have to put the right exhaust.
On slicks.
Oh.
Little white body.
Yeah, a little.
Just a little.
Not
just
much, just teasers.
And for 300,000, I think that's a reasonable price.
Oh yeah, even have 200k to spare.
I've got probably 4 tires, because every time you go up a mountain, you have to do something around a corner every now and again.
Okay,
Martin,
I've gone a bit more sensible.
It's not a Landini the tractor this time.
No. That's only a one seat.
Well, if you sit on the wheel arch, it's 2. So it's the same as the F1.
It's actually a 3-seater then. Yeah, okay, it doesn't count. But yeah, I've gone a bit more sensible. So one of the options was a E46 M3, 3.2 inline 6, and I was like, yo, that's such a nice car, but I'll probably die with my skills. Like that car does like to, throw its back around. So I've gone, and I think you could have expected this. 2003 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S. So this is the 996 version. This is the one of the weird
The day Martin
headlights.
doesn't choose a Porsche, he's probably sick or someone's hit him over the head. There's something wrong with him. The day he doesn't choose a Porsche.
Yeah, but listen, okay, so this is the 4S, meaning four-wheel drive. It's going to pull you out of the corners.
Yeah.
I don't think it has. I think it has about 300, maybe a bit more than 300 horsepower. So it doesn't have a lot of power, but still it's enough. Like Porsches just get it right for putting power on the ground. This thing handles insanely well. With the four-wheel drive, it just pulls you out of the corner, as you said. It does make a good sound. 3.6 flat 6. Almost forgot Porsches have flat 6s. Shocking. But yeah, naturally aspirated, so it does make an awesome noise. Revs till about 8. Yeah, I would very much like to drive this up that pass rather than a BMW, because I don't really like BMWs. But I think this thing also has the more pure sound. I don't know about you. What have you chosen?
Yeah, so as I said, it's expected from Martin for the Porsche, and they sound very good, but it's still a good car to take for that.
What do you have chosen between the two? Between the BMW M3 and the Porsche?
I would still probably have gone for the BMW. Like, you're a diehard fan for Porsche, I'm a diehard fan for BMW.
Fair enough.
We'll keep it interesting, because it'd be boring if two guys with two Porsches went up a mountain anyway. So
it would be. We need those kind of people.
Variation and get it sorted for that.
So we have... okay, that's basically our segment. He has a Honda S2000 with 200,000 to spare. I have 500,000 Rand 996 Carrera 4S. Also, the Porsches hold their value quite well. So that's why you don't really find 996s or 911s that matter, like good 911s with for 500k. Yeah. So I think we can go on to our favorite segment, the infamous PT Cruiser segment. The PT Cruiser segment, the ugliest car you will ever find.
The ugliest car?
Cabriolet or coupe? Oh, coupe. Not coupe, like hardtop.
Coupe, hardtop, whatever.
So you'd prefer the hardtop?
Hardtop. Yeah. So if I roll over and I won't break my neck or something, I'll still be able to get out of the car.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's only one place for that car, and that's a scrapyard, but it's fine. Anyway, so, Martin, can you tell us about this little pocket rocket?
Yes, okay, guys. So I've come upon this car. Well, actually, it was released quite some time ago, but I'm starting with the negative, and it's not in South Africa. That's the negative. It's a Volkswagen Up GTI. Up with the exclamation mark GTI. I mean, what an awesome idea. How cool is it that they actually took a Up, which is like the small boxy car, like it's like the S class of the small, like Hyundai Autos, that kind of range cars, Opel Adam and so, but very small car, 1 liter 3-cylinder. They basically have a turbo on, and I don't know what to say. It's just fun. It's just small. It handles probably not as so great. You'll probably go around the corner with the rear, one of the rear wheels in the air. But it just looks so fun and involving and engaging. It reminds me of a Peugeot 205 GTI.
I'm a fan of the Up.
More luxury.
It's not a bad car and stuff, but why? Why?
Because
why it's a GTI.
It's a Up GT. It's a small car.
I know it's a small car, and it's fine that the Up is a great car to buy, and it makes sense for city driving and all that stuff, and it's a sensible car. But why? I don't know.
I just like the idea of it, but they say the problem is that they actually have so they discontinued it in 2019 and then brought a facelift out with a bit more horsepower. Do you want to guess what the starting price is? Of course, it's done in South Africa, so.
Let's guess in what, euros?
No. So I took it from pounds to rands. So
so
try and guess in rands. What do you think the starting price would be?
Like 180,000? 200? 250? Oh my gosh.
300,000 rand.
No, man.
300,000 rand.
I would rather go buy I'd rather buy myself an old V12 turbo diesel Q7 and struggle with that the rest of my life before I pay 300,000 rand for an up GTI.
I know.
300,000 rand.
You can buy for 40,000 rand a Peugeot 306 GTI, stripped out, roll cage, one seater, dogleg gearbox, and you could probably buy what 40, like 6 of those.
Buy like 10 city Golfs and just modify them with other stuff that you find.
I was trying to find prices for like a Mark 1 or Mark 2 GTI. Polo or Golf GTI, and I couldn't find any prices. But I think I saw one at a dealership in Cape Town, Crossley and Webb, and yes, I can't remember, but I do think it was cheaper though. And
just why? I think
I'd rather go for that than this, just because of the price. And I was like, just make it a bit more analog, like.
It's so...
This small car, you should be driving it, you know?
Yeah.
We haven't driven it. We're probably not going to drive it, but...
driven a normal up, and that's like fine, but for that
the
price...
GTI is just so cool. It's so quirky.
Yeah, it's a great car. That's what I'm saying. It's a fantastic car. If it's just a standard one, they're still expensive, like, but it's understandable for what you get and all that, but...
No, it's... Yeah. Anyway.
300,000 rand for that. I don't know.
Are you rating? Okay. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1... Dead average. I thought you would go PT Cruiser.
Yeah, I know, but it's not ugly. That's the thing. If it was ugly as well, then I would have had PT Cruiser.
It's not ugly. Okay.
The next one,
yeah.
An icon in my world of fanboy.
Yeah.
The BMW M1.
Sorry for the weird noise I was drinking.
What a stunning
Tell
car.
me about it. I love that car.
Inline 6 engine. The first iteration was 3 liter, and then later 3.5 liter.
Okay.
From BMW engine.
Which year model was this? Was this like early 1980?
78.
Oh, okay.
First one was 78, and they revealed it at the Pro Car Championship the first time.
Okay.
And it's 270 horsepower from this inline 6.
This was the road car.
Yeah, this is a road car. So it's 1.4 tons. Stunning car. Designed, well, the situation was when they started designing this, Lamborghini and BMW partnered up.
Yeah, that's cool.
This is an interesting
This was in the Countach's years, right? Yeah.
So they partnered up to design a car with BMW. And it went in between and nothing worked out, and they had this massive disputes and fighting and stuff, and then the BMW just said, we'll do it on our own, and they left it. They just decided. So
they actually broke off the collaboration, but it was still sort of designed. You could see the Lambo
as far as I know, Lamborghini finished the engineering on the car, but they didn't the design.
Okay.
But as you said, it's the same era as the Countach and all that. When the car came out, Lamborghini said, hey, that's our Countach, what are you doing? And there was a big dispute about that, and the resolving thing that they eventually went for was taking 2 BMW badges and adding it to the rear of the car. So now you've got one BMW badge far left and one BMW badge far right, just to tell people it's not a Lamborghini, but...
because people actually were like, this looks like a Countach.
This looks like a Countach.
Was like, we will stick to BMW badges at the rear.
Yeah, and that was it. And then,
but it actually, so I
just want to continue on and saying it weighed 1.4 tons? 1.3 tons, with the road going, and then the Pro Car came out to drive in the BMW Pro Car Championship. They also raced this car, the Pro Car version, which is a 1-tonner, 500 brake horsepower from the same inline 6, 3.5 liter as well, and they raced that in Group B in Le Mans for 2 years, and then Group B fell away. Yeah, which is a pity because this car is phenomenal. It is stunning. It is a stunning car. A 1-tonner, that's a 1 to 2 power to weight ratio.
Yeah. So 500 horsepower.
500 horsepower for 1-tonner. It also took the record because of that. It took the record at the time for Germany's fastest sports car, or the most powerful sports car produced by any German manufacturer.
I actually just went to look it up. Do you know how many production M1s there were, like road going?
Like 400 or something, I think.
Yeah, 453.
Yeah.
So it's one of the rarest BMWs out there.
Yeah. No, you don't see these things.
And also for context, the M1 originated from the 8 Series. So we have an 8 Series now, BMW 8 Series, but this was like like the 8 series was awesome. Like also the 860, there was like 860 with V12, 850 with V8.
Later in around about the 80s, they changed it a bit and added a few things, made it more lighter, upgraded engines and all that, and it was then called the M88. I think was the model of that again later. So it was still the M1 base that they used, and then I think they added a V12 later to it as well, in certain. But that's like the rarest probably. Those V12s in an M88 model. It's got something. It's the same V12 of the 5 series that came to South Africa. The old 5 and 7 series that BMW produced in the 70s as well.
So the BMW M1 V12. Well, I don't know. Did it have a V12 later on?
I think later on it did. Not in the beginning. It was very short for it. They tested with it as far as I know.
But because I'm trying to find out because I know the McLaren F1, its V12 engine, the 6 liter, was designed and developed by BMW in collaboration. So maybe this was like, the start of it. I don't know. Anyway, we can go to rating. I think this is a very obvious one.
Yeah.
Very cool. Like,
very cool.
There isn't even a very cool segment, but like this is very cool.
Yeah, this is very cool. We need to make a very cool segment for that.
Yes. But this is in a class of its own. Anyway, you won't find a lot of it now.
You see them every now and again, like at Goodwood Festival of Speed or something, or at a hill climb, they'll make an appearance, but it's all private collectors.
There's a 850i in our town, well, in Stellenbosch, driving around, and it just looks so cool, much better than the unbelievably large grills they have now on the
7
cars.
series and all that.
Yes, Luke, but it's time. That concludes our 3rd episode. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for watching. If you're on YouTube.
The day ones.
The OGs will get that.
You will get your limited edition merch. But thank you for being here. As I said, follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and so. We will be doing our next one, hopefully, with a guest.
Yes,
we are organizing that one, but very exciting things to come.
Get some more experiences and some more stories.
Just trying to create some more appreciation. But thank you for joining. I hope you have a good one, and we'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Cheers.
Thank you.